Welcome back, everybody, once again to a very busy and beautiful day here at the Utah Motorsports Campus as the Pirelli World Challenge makes its annual stop here with the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at UMC, presented by EnergySolutions. Absolutely glorious day here. Temperatures on the climb, bit warm, but of course it's that dry desert heat, but it does have its effect. I'm Greg Creamer, Calvin Fish. Great to have you with us here on our live webcast. Jeff Lepper will be patrolling pit lane, and before we get into some specifics here, once again, my disclaimer, you're listening to us here will be, you're literally eavesdropping as we're building our CBS Sports Network show, so be wary. We may be pausing from time to time, even laying out a little bit while we're talking with producers and the like, but we'll be with you as much as we can. And that shot is something that I'm just delighted to see, Cal, because, you know, this track has been here. It's a great facility. It struggled to draw some crowd, but the last couple of years, World Challenge has pulled them, and it's great to see.
It is great to see because it's a wonderful facility, going through some ownership changes over the last few years, and one, maybe a big one coming up here in the next 30 days or so, which will certainly secure the future of the circuit. It's a busy track, lots of corners, and we should see some fascinating races here this afternoon.
And in the background there, what you're seeing, that bit of white, that is the salt bed, and just past it is the Great Salt Lake. So it gives you an idea of the location here as we're west of Salt Lake City near Tooele. And this is a great, great location here. That building off to the right, they call it the clubhouse, and that's absolutely a remarkable place. And in the Hall of Legends, they still have that big shot from Le Mans of '66 with the three Fords coming across, full wall size. When Larry Miller wanted to build this place, being a Ford fan, he did it right. And it continues to produce some amazing racing. And the setting itself is remarkable. I mean, on the east side of the track, the Oquirrh Mountains, the west side are the Stansburys. When you get here the right time of year and those peaks are covered in white, it doesn't get much prettier than this.
It's a beautiful venue, and it gets even prettier when we see these GT machines hit the racetrack, that's for sure.
It does, being released from the false grid, and there you can see that's the GT Cup field now coming up at the back. And as always now, this season, and again, it really comes down to the way that these GT3 cars are designed. They're just not built for standing starts. And so this year, both rounds of the doubleheader on any given event weekend are rolling starts, but it hasn't made it any less exciting.
No, it's been fascinating to see. I mean, certainly the advantage that the Cadillac seemed to have for so many years with the standing starts. You'd always see Johnny O and his teammate Andy Pilgrim up until this year just gobble up many positions. They're like a Pac-Man at the start, it seemed. So makes it a bit more challenging for those guys. And speaking of challenges, Johnny O'Connell lines up 14th today, so his car was a little bit off in qualifying. He lost a lot of track time on Thursday with an engine issue, so it just shows you the level of competition. If you miss it by a little bit now, it will certainly show in the grid position.
Oh, it is so tight, as it always is here, and as you said, that just makes a huge, huge difference. And there's a look at Alvaro Parent. He is our point leader coming in, another pole qualifying effort here, expanding that lead. He just seems to be able to do it all. And keep in mind, this is another track. I think every one of them has been a track he has never raced on this year. And how many poles does he have? 5, 6, whatever it is.
Yes.
Remarkable.
Yeah, 5 earned, 6 with the one at Lime Rock where Andrew Palmer secured the pole position and obviously couldn't take part in the race. So, yeah, and that's been very significant with the bonus points in terms of he has a healthy championship lead, but a good chunk of that is attributed to the bonus points for the pole, which you get 7 of and no one else gets any. So it's a big delta, particularly today. I mean, Michael Cooper very much thrown himself back into championship contention. So not only do you gain those points, you stop the other guy from getting them. So it's almost a twofer. It's almost like a 14-point swing.
Yeah, exactly. It's big. It's huge. There's no question about that. And again, we'll have all three classes running. And in GTA, Frankie Montecalvo, very, very quick, a new track record for the GTA category, as did Parent. And in GT Cup, Alec Udell obliterated the track record by over 0.6 of a second. So clearly, these cars continue their evolution, but also clearly so do these Pirelli P0 tires, and to be able to make those speeds. Now, we had qualifying, nice cool air earlier this morning, so that sure didn't hurt.
No, certainly attributed to the fast lap times. And you talked about Alec Udell just on a roll at the moment, just unbelievable stuff. 9 wins on the year right now, 5 in a row. But he's got some added competition here today. We've got a 5-car field in GT Cup. McKay Snow from the legendary racing family out here in Utah did a really nice job to out-qualify guys like Sloan Urie, Corey Ferguson have been around all season long, and Alex Welsh joins the group as well this weekend.
Yeah, it's a nice field, and there's just another look at the absolute beautiful facility here. And in not too long, we're going to be going down to the front of the grid for the command. And it's a very special story indeed. You remember that big incident in warm-up at Lime Rock? Well, Jorge De La Torre was involved in that. He makes his appearance in the World Challenge paddock for the first time. Ran into him while I was walking around. Absolutely lifted my heart, and he is about to lift yours as we are about to go down to the front of the grid where he will issue that command.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. Yeah, certainly special here with Jorge De La Torre returning to the Pirelli World Challenge paddock, doing the rehab here as we get set for the Utah Motorsports Campus Grand Prix on behalf of EnergySolutions with Optima Battery and, of course, Pirelli Tire North America, and from Aston Martin Racing, Jorge De La Torre Racing. Jorge, would you be the honor here and give us the command to start engines?
Drivers, start your engine.
Oh, that is just so special to see that young man walking around, big smile on his face, saying the rehab is going phenomenally. And for him to set this field on its way, Cal, very special moment.
It really is, and it's just great news to see him back in the paddock. And I also got a little bit of an insight to Andrew Palmer. It seems to be doing well. So our thoughts are with Andrew, of course, in terms of a full recovery, and great to see Jorge back here in Utah.
Absolutely, and it is time for us to get underway with some racing here. And Cal, as they're going to be released out for the pace lap here, long one, 3 miles, as we said here. Parent on pole again, just keeps expanding that points lead.
Well, it's huge. I mean, with 7 bonus points for the pole position, it's added up over the course of the year. It's 6 pole position, but one of those he didn't earn. So it's 35 bonus points with the 5 that he did earn. But more importantly today, Michael Cooper really threw himself right back into this championship chase with that win at Mid-Ohio. So not only did Alvaro gain the 7, he stopped Michael from getting 7, so it's like a 14-point swing right there.
All 3 classes, new track records, very impressive what we're seeing here. And, of course, the field being led around by the Cadillac ATSV pace car. Absolutely remarkable piece of equipment. Thank you so much to Cadillac. The field being followed by the Escalade from Cadillac, our official safety vehicle. That's a biggie. And, folks, we're going to step away here before we get ready to go racing. However, just a quick reminder, twice before this season, Michael Cooper has started on the outside of the front row alongside Alvaro Parent. In both of those events, by the time they got through the first turn, he was in the lead. Can he repeat it and keep this attack on our championship leader in place? We're about to find out. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're just laying out briefly on our CBS Sports Network coverage as we are staying with you here on the web, of course. Here comes Frank Montecalvo in that Dime Racing Mercedes. They took the previous event off at Road America and just got into that car a little bit to try and figure out what that problem was, and it sure seems to have been rectified. Cal, the problem was he was fast often early in the weekends prior to it, and then he'd have some problems as it would go off just a little bit, so we'll see how that plays out, but he sure was fast to qualify.
Yeah, no, and that's a great indicator, but some of these guys got a little bit of track time this morning. Michael Lewis got a great win in the Sprint X, coming from way behind to catch Kuno Whitmer in the final lap of the race, so he'll have a good read for his Porsche in terms of the long green flag run. He was very fast at the start of qualifying yesterday and then seemed to peak, and everyone else threw in their fast laps, so he'll line up on the 5th row of the grid with a 9th starting position.
Height Cotter starts 3rd, Long starts 4th. And he had to dig to find that. He was not on the pace for most of the other sessions, but, of course, they could have been just working on some stuff. And it's nice to see John Fogarty and that Red Dragon from Gainesville, Bob Stallings, right there just coming up over the attitudes up into the top 5. We're going to pause for just a minute, and we'll be back with our CBS Sports Network call. Welcome back to Utah Motorsports Campus as we are ready to go racing round 15 of the GT Cup, round 16 of GT and GTA about to unfold. First of the doubleheaders here at Utah Motorsports Campus, and there are your top few cars. Michael Cooper taking up position here along the outside. All 3 classes track records. And let's take a look now at our Kia Quad Box featuring the remarkable views from these Replay XD cameras. And boy, are they going to give us a great look as as this race unfolds today in this desert air. And into the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone the field comes. Pace car is ducked into the pits, and now it is up to Alvaro Perez and the starter as the field comes onto the front straight, and we are green! And look at the move by Cooper. He got a nose ahead, but Brent Redden and Heitkotter literally shoving him along, Cal.
Well, Heitkotter tried to split the gap there, thought better of it, and it's like literally he's bump drafting Alvaro Perez down to turn one. Cooper's trying to come back. Colin Thompson deep to the inside.
But Heitkotter
goes to the outside.
Does he make it stick though, Cal?
He does.
He does. Oh, but we got a spin. Lewis going around.
Wow, what a move by Brian Heitkotter. Fantastic stuff.
Perez second, third. Ooh, and look at this, Colin Thompson. That was a great launch. Colin Thompson up from 7th on the grid, Cal, and he just stuck it up into the 4th spot, going underneath Fogarty.
Well, once again, we saw a brilliant start by Colin Thompson. Fogarty dives down to the inside for the Blackrock hairpin and makes the move.
You think he was testing the ABS pretty heavily there? That
He was leaning
look
on
at Thompson
Thompson comes
back.
back at him side by side before they get ready for this right-hander. Fogarty has the line.
Thompson stays there, but he's got to close in at one point because Long is still there. And another great start by the Acuras. And here comes Thompson again, heading into Witchcraft. You got to be a little farther along to make that happen. But Spencer Pumpelly, in only his second event, driving Acura, filling in for P.D. Cunningham while he works on that NSX program, Cal, out-qualified his much more experienced teammate in these cars, Ryan Eversley.
Yeah, and you see those Acuras all over that curbing there through the attitudes, and that's one thing they didn't do in qualifying. There's a late note to the drivers in terms of being able to use that in terms of not exceeding track limits, and we're understanding we're under full course caution. That incident probably down in turn one.
Yeah, it didn't look like Lewis was able to get that car going. Oh my. Had a big win earlier today, and as you said, great track knowledge, excited about what might unfold here after that win in Sprint X, and now the car is stationary in turn one. And so things are going to be settling here just a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you, I think Ryan Eversley did it again. Ryan getting up and making up a couple of spots here. But let's go back and take a look at the replay in our GT Cup category start. Remember, Udell on pole after he obliterated the track record. And you can see McKay Snow on the outside. They come up, pick up their green flag. And it looked like Sloan Uri, by the end of the lap, was leading, Cal. See what he does.
Well, he's got about 500 guests here this weekend. This is his hometown. He's got friends and family and business partners here, so it was a brilliant start. And there you see, at the end of the lap, he has the lead.
Yep, just able to get around Alec Udell and just got a great run down into turn one. So he leads it here with Udell second and McKay Snow. And that if you're interested here in Utah, you are very recognized that United Industrial Sales imagery on the hood of that car. That is a company that's been with the Snow family for a long time. But let's go back now and take a look at the original start here, Cal.
Watch on the third, fourth row. Colin Thompson in particular, that orange car dukes out really early. Times it again. Heitkotter goes now. Watch him. He tries to split the gap there. Thinks better of it. Cooper doesn't have the horsepower, it seems, to compete with those two guys on the run down to the first corner.
And that's where Eversley made up his ground. Look at that. There's that scrum of cars that were four abreast. I think it was Eversley once again was able to come through and make up some ground.
Also saw those Acuras on the warm-up lap and even on the first lap really abusing those curbs over through the attitudes. Talking to some of the drivers, it's worth 3 to 4 tenths on their qualifying lap, but you absolutely shake the chassis to pieces and you can break components by doing that. So they're just feeling it out. They hadn't been using it in the testing. They didn't do it in qualifying, so they're trying to see if there's an advantage.
Now here's a look at the end of that 3,500-foot straight down into turn one, and it's where Heitkotter popped out and got that better angle in, but watch Lewis mid-pack.
Lewis right in the middle of the pack there. I'm not sure if he's going to get turned. It's Thompson to the inside. He just runs out wide.
Yeah, just can't tell there.
Yep, tough to tell from that angle.
So, but that's why we are under full course caution here at Utah Motorsports Campus. And there is your pace car. We're watching to see. It's usually this area of the track, Cal, where the lights go out on the pace. And there they go. So we are going to be going right back to racing. And nice work by the removal crews here, the EVs, if you will, to get Lewis's car removed. And it may be just simple that he needed a bump start, and he might be able to rejoin. So we'll keep an eye for him at the back of the field.
Yeah, he'll be a man on a charge, but it's a disappointing start to his day, having come off that Sprint X victory. And as I said, he should have got a really good read on the car for the long green flag run. So the promise has been thwarted early.
There is Alvaro Perez. Who's now looking at the back of that Nissan GT Academy. Nismo Nissan here as the field makes its way into the last two corners. I love the names, wind up and release. It's perfect here. And the pace car is in, so now Heitkotter leads the field around. And he has really been impressive the last couple of years, and certainly this season shown some great racecraft. Boy, and again, Colin Thompson just times these things extremely well. He's going to make up some ground again, Ken.
Yeah, he's really a man on the move on these opening laps. It seems Eversley to the inside. Pampelli goes with him. Look at the Acuras down on the inside of the track. Cooper trying to protect. Here comes Thompson. Back at those guys. Clears them once again.
Oh! Cooper and Parent!
They've hit. The championship leader is off to the outside of this picture right now.
Now Cooper sitting there. See if he's able to get going. Parent's still out of our frame to the right. He's sitting over there. This is huge, Cal.
It is monstrous. I spoke to Alva Parent just about 10 minutes before he got in the car today. I said, how do you really perform with the championship league like this? He said, I just go and try and win races. But right now,
he's getting out of the car. Let's go back, take another look at it, Cal. See if we can put together what happened here.
Well, he's over to the outside. He's going to cut across towards the apex, and I think Cooper's already there. And there's just not enough room for Alvaro to make that move. I mean, Cooper can't just disappear on him. And I think he was sort of like out of his side view mirror
I think that's
perspective
what it was.
And didn't realize that Cooper was so far down to the inside.
Oh, look at that. You can see he knows this is massive. And I think you're right. Cooper was so far to the inside and Alvaro was all the way to the outside, he never even saw him.
And remember, if you don't do 50%, Greg, it's 0 points. It's not just last points. This could be a huge swing.
Yeah, he needs to get that car, get it started, get back out, do whatever he can here. But we're going to have to figure out what happens at this point. But once again, under a full course caution with an incident at the start, and we're going to have a little bit of a delay here. We have a Muck Daddy cleanup coming, so while that happens, we're going to step away. But do stay with us. When we go back to green, it should be fierce here at Utah Motorsports Campus. Boy, here with everybody on the web stream, this is mega. When that door popped open on his car and he crawled out, you just sense a huge sea change possibly here in this championship, Cal. Can they get that car going again?
Well, they have to do everything they can because remember, your grid for tomorrow is set by fast lap. He hasn't had a chance to run a quick lap yet, so not only is he on a 0-point score, if he doesn't see further action, problem for qualifying tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's get down to Jeff Lepper in pit lane. What's up?
Yeah, Michael Cooper comes down, slowly really pulls into pit lane, kind of comes to a stop here, lets the crew look at the car to get a good visual at what the damage is, and he gets back underway.
That's good news for Cooper as he was able to get that car going again, Cal, come around and have that quick look, and absolutely have to do that after contact. He was already at the back of the field, just let the crew get a good look at it here. But, you know, for his dynamic, that has changed massively as well. And look who sits in second. The racer.
Amazing.
This guy is ridiculous.
Ryan Eversley. His first laps and starts to these races are just out of control. Now, he's not out of control, but the positions are hard to believe.
And look who's worked his way up into 7th here.
Johnny O.
Yeah.
Well, we keep saying he's got to pull a major rabbit out of his hat. He's never been this far behind this late in a championship season.
And I talked to him just before we got into the booth here, and we were talking about his issues in the qualifying round, and he said, with that great fun of his, he went, I sure am going to be missing our standing starts. Well, in a way, this has helped him immensely here.
Well, the good news, if there is any for Alvaro Parent, is that Cooper's obviously in trouble. And Pat Long has not had a great start either. He sits there in the 8th position right now. So not a huge points-paying day for either of those guys at this stage of the game. Yeah, the key is, where do these guys take this McLaren? If they get it back to the paddock, you know the K-Pax group will do everything they can to try and get it back in the action somehow so that Alvaro can lay down a fast lap and get a grid position for tomorrow.
And this is completely legal. They get it on the back of the flatbed, they drive it in, they get it into the paddock, and they can work on it. And if they can get it going, he is more than able and capable of coming back out and putting some laps in. So they're going to be looking at that, certainly, as we take a look at it here. But, Pat Long sits in the 8th spot at this stage, and somehow John Fogerty got shuffled way back because he had qualified up in the top 5.
Well, there was chaos there on
Yeah.
both of the starts, obviously, so I'm sure if John got involved in both of them, but not the start he was looking for. Good to see the Red Dragon up at the sharp end again, just as we saw at Mid-Ohio. It's been a long season for them. Showed great promise early in the opening venue at COTA with a podium run there in the race 2. But since that time, major struggles, but what a shake-up. This is hard to believe. And I was just talking to Alvaro. I said, how do you approach the season now? You got a healthy lead. He said, I just go and win. Don't take any unnecessary risks. But first glance, Greg, I mean, he turned in and Cooper was there.
Yep.
I don't think Cooper was attempting to make a pass. I think he thought he was getting in there as deep as he could with the pressure from the Acuras from behind. And Alvaro can't just chop across to the apex like he did.
But I'm sure he never even saw him.
Well, the straight
you
is
look
so
at his mirrors,
wide.
there's nobody there.
He's
I'm
extreme
okay.
right,
Yeah.
Cooper's extreme left. So he's going to probably be thinking, well, someone dove down the inside trying to pass me. That wasn't the case.
Yep. And here's another thing to chew on here when we get another look at the front of the field here, as you see Sloan Uri, who had qualified only 3rd, but of course Sloan, local driver as well, based here in Salt Lake, driving for True Speed in that Security National Mortgage Evasys car, and got the jump at the start, so he's leading right now over Udell. But here's one for you. 4th overall, Frankie Montecalvo, taking advantage of all that mess, and he sits right now right behind Adderley Fong when we take a look at the front of the grid. And here they come at us here. You can see there's Heitkotter, there is Eversley, there's Fong, and there is Frank Montecalvo. What a day it could be for this guy. That's pretty impressive.
It really is. It's been a kind of a sporadic season for Frankie. Missed a couple of rounds here and there, so whenever he's back, he's always quick. That Mercedes is a great platform. And Dime Racing, I mean, they've certainly had their issues this year and their challenges, but they're digging deep. They're certainly making their presence known in this championship.
Yeah, first year in this championship. And when that car is clicking, it is quick. And, of course, we know Frankie, as he won the GTA championship last year, won 7 of the last 9 races, and is certainly a very capable driver, just not a paid professional driver. That's why he runs right now in GTA. But there's an opportunity here. If you finish in the podium overall, sayonara GTA. And he's got an opportunity.
Let's have a look here.
Yeah.
I think the damage to Alvaro's car, he knows that couldn't get it back to the pit lane under its own power, so I wonder if there's a big hit to that right front suspension where they had contact.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. So
Sorry,
we'll
left
see
front
what's going to
suspension.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. And while we're under caution, I want to remind you that if you're fans of this series like we are and you want to know what's going on all the time, check out social media. You can do it at the Pirelli World Challenge site at world-challenge.com. And there's great video content, including links for the live webcast. You can also check it out on Facebook or on Twitter. Just look there for the handle at WC Racing. And for all things racing, take a moment to check out Motor Trend On Demand. That includes archives of all the Pirelli World Challenge races. And you can start your free trial at motortrendondemand.com today. And we are ready to go back to racing here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus. And we are going after it. And Heitkotter comes along. We are green. Let's see what happens on this restart. And we know one thing about that Nissan. It's got pretty good legs, as does the Acura. So those two guys should be pretty free and clear by the time they get down into Sunset Bend.
Yeah, those turbo cars should be really strong here. Eversley really closing on into the StockTech brake zone on the back of Heitkotter, but Heitkotter gets a nice clean exit doing everything. Oh, look, O'Connell there.
That was on long, and
Yeah.
that was a touch.
It was, and O'Connell loses a couple of car lengths. He's now under pressure from Dolby in the second of the always evolving Nissans.
He's really acquitted himself quite well this weekend. Doesn't know this track very well, but does know the Nissans and has been very, very, I think, just, plotting his strategies well. And now taking a look at O'Connell down into the Black Rock hairpin.
Well, he knows of Johnny O'Connell's accomplishments, and he knows he's a great racer, but that doesn't mean he's not going to try and pass him here early on his debut in Pirelli World Challenge. Look at that. I think there's shine there going to the inside of Colin Thompson.
Wow, what a
No,
run.
it's long.
That is long.
That is long. He's starting to make some moves. He's seen Alvaro Parent's car on the trailer. He realizes this could be a big day for him. He needs the bigger points, though.
Oh, and here we go again. Dolby attacking on O'Connell and has to check up as they go through Witchcraft and now up into the attitudes. And look at that, that accurate, just straight line. And that's perfectly legal.
It is. It's all about staying just on the curb. If you've got all four wheels on the other side of the curb, you could see the rough ride. They didn't really set the car up to deal with that, and I think he actually lost ground. He's not committed to that line just yet. He realizes there's time to be had, but right now they didn't really set the suspension to deal with that, the compliancy of the suspension over that rough ride.
And it is rough. You just bound across it, and that's an issue. Now, Montecalvo right there, Frankie Montecalvo, in 4th overall. We were just talking about it. It's remarkable what he's done this year, but now taking advantage of all of that chaos, Cal, he sits 4th overall. And remember, if you finish on the overall podium, sayonara, GTA, you become a GT driver. So he's knocking on that door here.
He's got to think about it, certainly if he wants to continue to score points there.
Oh, and look at this battle for the lead in GT Cup.
Cooper's in again.
Into the pits.
Big news. Something's wrong there with Michael Cooper. You see him flash across the screen. Udell starting to put the pressure on Yuri.
And you can see Alex Welch doing a nice job sitting in that 3rd spot right now. So McKay has dropped off just a little bit with Corey Fergus. Now Welch watching this battle up in front of him here. For a minute, I thought that Udell might just take a look here and decides not quite there yet.
Well, certainly in qualifying, Alec Udell had a nice margin over Sloan Yuri, and you can see there, I think his car has got a lot more potential, but Yuri's going to place that car exactly in the wrong spot for Alec Udell to take advantage. As we said, major support here. This is Sloan Yuri's hometown, Salt Lake City. Lots of family, friends here, and about 500 guests with his business partners here this weekend.
Udell just sticking the nose out for a minute. Here comes McKay Snow down to the inside, possibly on Alex Welch for 3rd. Did he make it work? And he's through. Think he got that done. So McKay Snow doing a nice job. Now, big development here as we're watching this battle for the lead in GT Cup. The problems for Michael Cooper, Jeff Lepper, gone from bad to worse.
Long pit lane here down this straightaway at 35 miles an hour. A drive-through penalty for the contact with Michael Cooper and his Cadillac Racing ATS VR. Just got that completed.
Wow.
And so I thought it was going to be, I had heard there was going to be a penalty. I assumed it was maybe for speeding down pit lane when he had him just take a look at that car. Boy, I'll tell you, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'd love to see another look at that because I really don't think Mike was trying to make a move. He was just on the opposite side of the racetrack. Alvaro came across to the apex and there was contact, but I don't think Alvaro knew he was there, as you suggested too. With this wide straightaway, he's probably out of his peripheral vision, out of the side view mirror vision as well. That's a tough one for Michael.
It is, and yeah, I don't think Michael was trying to make a pass. I think he was trying to keep from being passed is all that was. And running in 2nd, Ryan Eversley right now. He is your Optima Batteries best start winner, as we talked about. Started in 12th. At the end of that first lap, was up in 8th, advances 4 spots, and gets the Optima Batteries best start award. Nice job for Ryan Eversley, and we're going to step away for just a moment, and we'll be back. Let's chew on that one just a little bit. Obviously, I think that's a real tough. I don't think there should have been a penalty at all. If ever there was a racing incident where one guy was defending and on getting past, and the other guy on complete opposite side of the track thought he had clear track to turn in, but hey, that's maybe they've got access to some things we're not seeing here.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be discussed heavily.
Yeah.
I'm sure Michael will have a different viewpoint to that. Alvaro's, he's off in the weeds and he just thinks he got taken out. But it's an interesting dynamic with this wide straightaway, 3/4 of a mile run with the acceleration zone and everything else. It's tough, but these are huge decisions in terms of this championship. Brent's Day may be done. He may get 0 points. Michael will get points provided he gets past the 50% mark of this race, but his position is going to be hurt. It's about 25-second delta by coming down pit lane at that 35 miles per hour speed limit.
In the last shot I saw of Eversley coming through this very sequence of track, and you can see those Porsches a lot more compliant over that. Eversley no longer straight lining that. He is driving around that curb. It was just too violent. But boy, these two lads, no problems. We'll just straight line through there.
Yeah, much higher ride height. They don't have all the dive planes and little widgets sticking off the front end of this GT Cup machine. And I think Eversley was just losing time. You got the damage aspect at the bottom of your race car as well, but he just didn't seem to be able to hold the throttle once he was coming over there and coming off the exit speed. It seemed slower. compared to the leader.
Well, that was one of the reasons Johnny O'Connell said, and he said, we had a bad push anyway, so I wasn't going to be competitive. He said, but Cooper's fast lap, he went straight over that curb. He said, I can't do that. We're running a stiffer setup, and I have to avoid it completely. And he said, on that lap, that certainly made a difference.
Yes, and you do. If you know you can go out there, then you're going to set up the car accordingly, because if you run a soft setup, it'll have a compromise elsewhere. As we see Udall, he seems really quick on the entry to turn one, as we saw earlier in this race. He seems to be able to carry the speed into that apex, the rolling speed as we call it. But right now he's got a bit of a roadblock here in Sloan Urie, who's going to dig deeper than he's done all season long in front of his home crowd.
Oh, you know that. And the one thing about Alec, and I mean Sloan as well, these two guys are just good racers, and they've got great minds. And Alec said, you can see it. I can stuff my nose down going into turn one, but that's just going to slow us both up. It could be bad. He showed the nose, tucked right back. He knows he's got a fast car. Opportunity will come.
And again, I mean, we talk about that 50% mark. Maybe he'll increase the intensity once he gets past the 50% mark. Yep. What he can't afford to do, stuff it down the inside, get it all wrong. Suddenly he's sitting in the Tuoles. No pun intended.
The
Tuoles, and Sloan goes on to grab a big win and big points. So maybe he's thinking about that. Let's get to 50%, make sure I score points here today. Then I'll start to stack the pressure on.
And there they go again, down through the bottom of the attitudes to what's called bad attitude. This is the Tuella turn. If you went straight off there and went to the right a little bit, you'd end up in Tuella. And now down toward Clubhouse in that final corner sequence. Now just biding his time, it almost feels like, doesn't it? You're looking at it here. Urie's last lap at 154.7, Udall at 154.8. McKay Snow's matching those two guys right now. He's having a very strong run.
Yeah, he must have had a bit of a bobble for Alex Welch to have got around him after that restart, I would imagine. Either Alex was very brave or McKay had a bit of an issue. See O'Connell there, major smoke coming out of O'Connell's car.
Is that body rub, you think?
It's either there or he's just been off, and that's just the dust coming out from the wheel wells and out from the wheels.
Certainly looks like that car is covered in that dust, so perhaps he did have it off.
Yeah, when he's hitting the brakes, maybe it's just
there's gravel
exhausting,
coming out of that
all
car,
of the gravel coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Johnny's been for a ride somewhere.
And Udall just sits, watches, and strategizes at this point.
Well, we're looking at the clock, 21 and a half minutes in, and he looks to the inside there. Sloan's going to have to be careful because he's leaving that door pretty far open after he's hit the brakes there into Black Rock, and I think Alex is going to have some of that before too long.
Have a nibble, huh?
Have a little taste.
I think so here. Anytime you want us backwards. All right, folks, we're going to pause. We'll be right back with our call. Want me to take it now? We are back at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. And look at the lead. Brian Highcotter is starting to build here over 2 seconds now. He has put together a margin over Ryan Eversley, who's starting to feel some heat from Adderley Fong in the Bentley. Great run here by Adderley and sitting in that third spot. And then, of course, Montecalvo still impressing mightily here, not getting passed by anybody, including the lights of Patrick Long, who sits right behind him. So he is continuing to lead GTA.
Well, Pat Long's going to do everything he can to wrestle that position away from Frankie Montecalvo, because he's got to score as many points as he can. He realizes that Perrin is probably out for the day. Cooper's in trouble. His team will be keeping him abreast of all of the various scenarios. So this can really tighten up the championship tonight. But we talk about Perrin coming to these tracks for the first time. Same situation for Adderley Fong. So this is a really impressive performance by that young man.
And look at this now. Fong really. I think he just tapped the back maybe of Eversley.
Eversley said he's really been struggling with understeer. They just can't get it to work. Spoke to Spencer Pompelli about the issue. Said, yeah, I've got the same thing. Just in the real tight stuff through 5 and 6. Really, really hard to get the car turned. And if we do that and try and get on power, it's just going to snap away. There you see Eversley tries to use those curbs there to establish a gap, and he did. I think that gained him about 2 car lengths there. Looking at the data, the teams and drivers are saying it's worth about 3 to 4 tenths if you can get it right.
But, boy, he hits it so hard and it just starts bounding like crazy, Cal. And
he gaps, but then he can't get on the power as early, so it hurts him a little bit on exit.
Okay, Cal, and just a little bit ago, we saw Johnny with all of that smoke and puff. Look what happened here. Obviously, it was just an off. That's just, you can see the rocks and debris coming out of the car. And, of course, his son, Kanan, made his pro racing debut here this weekend in the touring car class, or the touring car B class, and his first ever pro race, second.
That was amazing. That's got to make Johnny really, really proud, and he had another top 5 today, so great to see another O'Connell on the grid, and maybe he can follow in his dad's footsteps. Be tough path to follow, though. I mean, Johnny's had so much success with his career.
We've had some reports that in Victory Circle, Johnny was pretty teary, and that's the dad side of Johnny.
That's
there's
cool.
The racer side, but there's the dad side, and it was brought out this weekend. That's absolutely wonderful. Look at this long attacking on your leader in GTA right now, Monte Calvo, and you're thinking, well, if he doesn't have the pace to get up there and really duke it out with Eversley and Fong, is he going to risk trying to get around Monte Calvo? Yeah, because in the point scoring for GT, the GTA cars take those points. They're placed where they are. So that's a big switch if you can get through on them.
Absolutely. This is the corner that Eversley really struggles in. You can see the Adley Fong is all over him, so Ryan's having to super slow the car, otherwise he's just going to wash out with that front end, I would believe. That's one of the areas that they were struggling with, that understeer.
Well, and that's the corner. It's almost the opposite of Black Rock, which is an increasing radius exit. When you go into it, it's called right hook and knockout, they call it. It snugs up, and that car doesn't like that.
That's right. That's right. As you exit Black Rock, as you said, you can start to unwind the wheel, and you got a bit more track to work with. With that one, you've got to keep it tucked in.
And as we're watching here, Pat Long, and you're talking about it, Cal, opportunity here for him to make up a big points margin. Did he have enough? Not quite there. And the reason he wants to get through, as you said, that Perrent out of this one at this stage. And Jeff Lepper, what's he got? Oh, hang on a sec, Jeff. As we just watched the move here, Long trying to get underneath, couldn't quite get it done there. But now let's get down and hear from Jeff Lepper and Alvaro Perrent. Wow, obviously I can understand him feeling upset about it, not realizing that maybe, Cooper was not trying to make a pass. It was just one of those scenarios here, but you can understand his angst because he's sitting there watching points just disappear.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Pat Long's got to be careful. Remember, he got that drive-through penalty at Mid-Ohio, which he didn't really serve in the correct amount of time, so dodged the bullet, tried to fight it in terms of the stewards. And there's a definitive rule in place in terms of how many laps you have to really serve that penalty. And by tucking his nose inside some of these apexes, if Frankie comes down on him, he's going to turn him. And that could be a similar scenario and a similar outcome in terms of a penalty. So, again, he needs every point, but he can't afford to throw it all away here.
Absolutely, and he's been running up close on the back of that Mercedes. He may have lost a little bit of efficacy from those tires, so he's backed off just a little bit. And while he's backed off on the attack, as Heitkotter continues to stretch his margin up over 3 seconds, we're going to step away for a moment here, but we will be back. Back with you here on the web, and boy, I'll tell you, and we've got a change here. Udell finally able to get through and making the pass on Yuri. Now we'll have to see whether Yuri is able to stay there and race with Udell here, based on what we saw in those qualifying times. Udell had a 152.5 and Yuri a 153.3, but Yuri looks a lot more racy right now.
Yeah, he does. They've been tweaking on that car, seeing to find a little bit of speed. There we see Michael Cooper. His goal now will obviously be, if he can gain any positions, but lay down a fast lap for tomorrow. And a big surprise, looking at the timing and scoring, Michael Lewis has the fastest lap of this race. If it maintains, he'll have the pole for tomorrow.
Yeah, 149.624, and that's why you just never give up on this stuff. And Michael Cooper just watched Alec Udell just straight line over that curve, and he must have said, I wish I could do that every lap.
Significantly, Pat Long now has the third fastest lap of this race. Heitkotter the second fast. So again, what is the importance? Why do we keep talking about it? Well, fast lap today, grid for tomorrow. And there's a real strategy to that. Michael Cooper won round 2 at Mid-Ohio, and it was all about laying down that fast lap on the very last lap of round 1, putting him on the pole, and then putting him on the front row and then bringing it home.
And again, Udell getting a little bit of a gift here as Cooper, as he came through, slowed Yuri down just a little bit. And suddenly that margin between Udell and Yuri has blossomed to 1.2 seconds here. So Udell in that Global Motorsports Group Euro World car now has a bit of a margin over Sloan Urie in that evasive security national mortgage entry.
See those GT Cup cars, they hang pretty tough with the GT3 machinery down the straightaway. They don't have all the bells and whistles, all of the dive planes and the big wings to really slow them down in terms of drag, so they're pretty sporty down the straightaway. Look at Eversley all over that curb there coming out of Tuella.
Well, Fong just continues to attack on him at this stage, and he's going to keep doing that. But the problem, I just kind of talked about it with Long, you spend that enough time behind the guy in front of you, and you lose the air on the nose. Eventually, those tires overheat at the front because they're not working right, and you just have to give it up for a minute, don't you?
You do. Just breathe it a little bit, let them cool down, get back to their sweet spot, and then have another go. And nice run here by Austin Cindric. Didn't have a great qualifying run this morning. He's running right behind Pat Long right now. He's in the 7th position overall, and his teammate Colin Thompson right behind. So for the Capex team that came here and looks so strong in the practice sessions, and obviously having the pole position with Alvaro Perrin, this is not what they expected to see. None of their cars in the top 5 at this stage of the game. Just over 20 minutes to go, so everyone will score points that's running right now. That's good news for Michael Cooper, because his day could have been done with that contact with Alvaro Perrin as well. The bad news is he's down in the 16th position. Long there, just weaving a little bit on the brakes, hard into the ABS at this stage of the game. See how these tires go over the long run. Hidecarter doesn't have pressure from behind right now. He's been able to choose his line and try and baby those tires a little bit. See what Eversley does here. That time doesn't use the curb. See how much quicker he gets off of the exit of bad attitude.
That time Eversley not quite as aggressive on that exit curve, was he? But Pat Long was, and again he gets a run here on Monte Calvo. And Long looking in his mirrors, and he knows those McLarens are fast, and right behind him and closing in, it looks like a little bit, is Cindric and Thompson in that the 6 and 13 respectively.
Yeah, I think the intensity from Pat Long will ramp up if those McLarens do get any closer. He doesn't want to drop any position, certainly. He's looking for more today, not less.
Long right there. Now it's just a drag race, but one thing that Mercedes has is legs.
It does. It's a strong race car. Frankie does a great job with it. You'd have to think if any of the players in GT had that car, they'd be doing great things with it as well.
Absolutely, and it is a sweet-sounding beast as well. No denying it.
There's talk of that new car. Will we see it debuted here this year? Been a promise of it. We haven't quite seen it materialize, but you'd only have to think it'll be an even stronger platform for Mercedes-AMG.
Well, we've heard rumors, and it's just that, but we've heard rumors it might show up in time for Sonoma, and that would be great to have it running for a couple of races at the end of the year here. By the way, Martin Fuentes continues to run second in GTA, but 15 seconds back, and some of that was just the track position here, and I mean Monte Calvo taking advantage, and Fuentes obviously couldn't get it done, and he's only got a second in hand, Fuentes does, over Mike Shine, who's been the guy as of late who has taken the biggest chunks in terms of points out of Fuentes.
Yeah, 6 wins on the season now for Michael Shine, 8 to Fuentes, including that 7 race streak at the beginning. You see, as soon as Fong gets a little bit closer, Eversley says, okay, I'll get my little 2 or 3 tenths right there and use those curbs. And I think as he gets more and more used to running over that and the abruptness of it and recognize that he can handle the car on the exit, he should become more efficient with that in terms of his exit speed as well as the immediate gap that you get by basically shortcutting the circuit.
And welcome back, everybody, here, and we are watching a great battle continuing to unfold in the GT Cup category. And as we're watching this battle unfolding, let's get down to Jeff with Tyler Tadovic from True Speed and Sloan Urie's team. All right, thanks very much, Jeff. And, of course, this battle is so intense. And now, of course, Udell is able to sneak through, but Urie has closed it up. But, Cal, let's take a look at the pass.
Here it is, just tucks it down to the inside. A late move. And I said if he keeps leaving that door open, Alec Udell is just going to have to take it. And Sloan there lost a lot of ground by fighting on the exit. But look at this, he's not going away.
Yeah, no, it is a fierce battle here, and Udell was just relentless on it. And as soon as Yuri swung to the right going into Blackhawk, that's when Alec just straightened the wheel, went straight up inside him, and made it work. So just fantastic. But Sloan Yuri has not gone quietly, that's for sure. You know what? He's just tucked right up behind Alec here at this stage, and he might be going to school just a little bit. You know, for all the laps and knowledge he has at this track, clearly that Global Motorsports Group team has a great setup on the car. And I think Sloan might be watching and learning here.
Yeah, you see Alec there really trying to square off the corner, takes a much wider turn-in point. And down in turn one is where I saw a major difference. He kind of angles it in a little bit sooner than Sloan. So the opposite case when you get to turn one into our stop-take brake zone. But these guys are literally driving the wheels off this GT Cup car.
Oh boy, Sloan.
To the inside, floats the speed through here. Great rhythm through this section of the circuit, Greg.
You've talked about it before. You really like this 1-2-3 complex, don't you?
It is. It's really cool, and then that all sets up nicely. When you come through here, you've got to get good speed, rolling speed through the middle, because then it's going to be a flat-out run down to the Black Rock hairpin. And that's where Sloan kind of opened the door. He kept kind of hanging out wide to try and get a nice late cut on the corner. See Alec there just kind of protecting a little bit to the middle of the road. Can't be too reactive. That will get the steward's attention if you get too reactive and don't give the guy behind a lane. But look at that. Sloan's now tucked it off there. So able to make the undercut, and he's getting good power down. So his car is working really well.
Well, the thing is, if you do that and you pinch the guy you're trying to pass and get him stuck to the inside there, they're slow coming out and into witchcraft. Sometimes you can make something happen, but looked like Alec Udell covered that nicely, and they're making another run up into the attitudes, and that's this corner right here. This is the first attitude, and then you complete the complex. But right now, Brian Heitkotter, he's just easing away, Cal. That margin now is up to 3.7 seconds, but Adderley Fong still attacking on Eversley. We saw him again show the nose just in the background of that shot. And these two, this is a great battle.
It's a great battle. Let's not forget that Ryan Eversley has had so many strong runs of late. He's leapfrogged all the way up to 5th place in the points. The next man on his target, on his range, is Johnny O'Connell, who's just about 60 points ahead. So if he keeps getting these podium finishes and the big points, before we know it, he'll be up into the 4th position in the championship. And then the next man is Cooper. He's having a bad day.
Well, look at Eversley over those curbs, and he's carrying our iBox suspension cam. Whew. Boy, if there's ever a place on this track it's going to get tested, it's those curbs.
Unbelievable. He's getting more comfortable. He's finding the line. They really are on uncharted territory coming into this race and using that massive curb there, and he was really struggling with it. He had too much steering input coming up over the top. It was unsettling the car. He's got more of a straight line over there now, Greg, and it's more settled, and it's been very efficient coming off, as well as the immediate gain by shortcutting over the curb.
Boy, and Adderley Fong must be just absolutely coming unglued inside the cockpit going, I can't do that.
I can't do that with a Bentley.
Well, yeah, that's just not right with the Bentley. That might spill the tea. And then this great battle, Monte Calvo says, what a run he's putting on here. 4th overall and leading by a bunch in GTA at this stage.
And look at that. Pat Long is sandwiched by 2 of the young stars in our championship, Frankie Montecalvo, Austin Cindric right there in that bright blue and black. K-Pax McLaren coming off that brilliant victory, brilliant pole position, an excellent podium run at Mid-Ohio. Followed that up, he's a busy boy, won a K&N race, the following stock car race. I understand he's going to be doing 3 truck races this year, so they're getting the boy a lot of mileage, and it's showing in terms of his performance.
Yeah, I think, in the Olympics, they'd be calling him an all-rounder. He really is just doing everything he can, driving everything he can, and there's some more seat time you get in this.
Oh, look at this.
Tap there.
There is a little tap. It wasn't initially, it was kind of a bump in the road, but then Adley did just touch him. I think there's a little scuff, a little argy-bargy, but Ryan Eversley is a great racer. He's not going to fall to this pressure.
And here we go up to the attitudes once again, and watch the cut here. Does he do the straight line again?
He
ran
so
wide that time.
He's really wide. He pushed the entry there. Fong's going to get a run on him despite the shortcut. Look at this.
Speaking of runs, Yuri alongside Alec Udell. These 2 young aces are on it. What a battle we're seeing here. Fantastic stuff. And Yuri's got the position, Cal. Just a matter of, can Alec do anything around the outside? He's thinking about it. He's going to try and stay put. Ooh, this is close. And there, he had to give way.
He did. Just beautiful driving, good, clean, hard driving. Stayed in a straight line. No one was kind of taking any road away from one another. And then Sloan just got the car position, didn't take it in too deep. Alec hung tough on his flank, but just ran out of road.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I tell you, look at this now. Here comes Fong, possibly on Eversley,
and
long
on
oh boy,
Monte Carlo's all happening.
And Eversley able to get back in front. The only thing that Acura has is some motor, but Long finally able to get through. And look how close that's drawn him too, Cal, to this battle.
Yeah, well, I think Eversley's backing up a little bit. Hasn't been a clean lap for him. We saw him got really wide on the approach to the attitudes, and he's losing lap time, losing gap to the leader. Highcutter very settled up front. The gap right now just under 7 seconds. But Eversley is kind of stymieing Fong here, and has allowed both Monte Carlo and Long. Fong looks to the inside for the Blackrock hairpin. Eversley's a demon on the brakes.
And let's see if Fong can do any kind of an over-under.
Oh,
it's alongside.
Oh, look at that. Looks to the outside. This is where Eversley is not quick. Watch the run that Long gets as well. He could take advantage. Before you know, he could pounce on both these guys. If they get fighting too hard, he looks to the inside briefly.
And Fong tried to cover it. That might actually slow him up. Yeah, he ended up pushing a little wide at the exit of Witchcraft. And that is what Ryan Eversley needed. Folks, we're going to step away very quickly, but we will be right back, we promise, to this fascinating race. Oh boy, we're going to keep calling it here, and look at this now. Cindric comes up on the back of Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I think everyone's stacking back. Yeah. There's like a concertina effect right now because of Eversley's pace. I mean, he's doing a great job, but he's literally hanging on.
Monte Carlo's times have dropped off just a little bit by about a half a second here, and that's allowed Cindric to be able to come up and get after it. And Eversley dropping the rights here, boys. He's doing everything he can to hang on to this position.
He's a fighter. Just brilliant, opportunistic moves that he's making at the start of these races. We saw all sort of like springboard into action at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where he had that podium run, and there's that big impact between these two guys on the run down to turn 4, where they didn't see further action that day. But since that time, Ryan Eversley continues to impress, putting in really strong performances every race weekend, including that double victory at Road America.
This battle continues. We just got word, by the way, from the Alec Udell Global Motorsports team that he has radioed in with high engine temps, and he's losing some power as a result.
That's going to be doubly difficult, because if he wants to tuck into the draft to try and make a run on Sloan Uri, he's got to think better of that in terms of what it's doing to his radiator inlet.
Ooh, did Fong get it done here? He's alongside. And Eversley's not going to go easy, but Fong has the line. Eversley realized that if he stayed out there, certainly Long was going to go right by him too. And getting passed by Fong.
Eversley really wide.
Oh, and here comes Long.
Going to try and take advantage.
Oh, look at that.
Eversley uses that cushion he's got with being able to use those curves, but that has just gapped him back from Adley Fong. Great driving by Adley Fong, being very patient there. Good, clean, hard racing. But I tell you what, Eversley's car is really pushing way more than it was at the start of this race on the approach to the attitudes. He just can't get the car turned in.
Well, he was going to fight hard, because it's bad enough to get passed by Adderley Fong on the same lap, but to get Fong and Long, it's just not right.
Be Adderley Wong, wouldn't it?
Oh boy, now. Yeah, Pat Long, he realizes, I think, that Eversley might be wounded. He got a great run out here, but he's just going to have to tuck in, because that Acura does have straight line, and you can see it shows.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Pat Long, because he's getting better exit off that final corner of release, but can't do anything with it. And Monte Carlo's much closer there into the stop-tech brake zone. Thompson coming back on Cindric. Oh, he carried a lot of speed in there, had to check up. Otherwise, he's going to hit his teammate. That was close. I don't think these positions are settled right now, Greg. I think everyone's got in full racer mode. Fong is gapped Eversley by quite a bit on that lap. Eversley going to have to fight hard to hang on to this podium finish here. Long to the inside. He's got the power down. Can he clear him before they get to the right-hander? Takes it to the long side. He goes to the outside.
Ooh. Long's there. He's got him, I think, Cal. Whoop, or does he? It's the right-hander. This is into that witchcraft. Boy, I thought Pat was going to just be able to ease around him.
Good racing by Ryan Eversley in terms of giving him.
Oh,
some
here,
room.
Long got through, though.
Long's through. Yeah, Eversley's car is just going away from him. I think he's kind of hit a cliff right now in terms of his performance. Long is through up to the third spot. That's bad news for Alvaro Parent.
Oh, that huge in terms of this points development here.
Parent came into this race with the bonus points for the pole with a 102-point lead. And if Pat Long gets a third place finish, that is 90. Could be a 12-point lead. And remember, Parent's going to start from the back tomorrow.
Welcome back, everybody. Your leader, Brian Highcotter, now working through some of the GT Cup traffic, already expanding that lead significantly, and big battle unfolding behind him between Adderley Fong, Ryan Eversley, Pat Long, and now Fong is in second, but still 5.5 seconds back. And look at the two McLaren K-Pax teammates, Colin Thompson down inside of Cindric into one.
Wow, sensational stuff. The two youngsters going hard at it, good clean racing. Thompson's been on fire here this weekend in terms of his raw pace. Now he's just got to execute here, and I think he could have another couple of positions before the end of this race.
That was a nice pass, but we just mentioned the fact that while we were in break, Adderley Fong has now picked up that second spot, and Ryan Eversley just was not able to make it stick. So let's go back and take a look at that big pass here, Cal, and it was a beauty that Adderley Fong had worked on and set up for a while.
He really had. He finally gets to the inside here on the approach to the Attitudes. Eversley tries to hang tough. You see Pat Long there thinking about getting to the inside, but Fong clears him. And then Eversley's really struggling there, trying to get the car turned, and Long almost takes advantage. Right there, you can see there, Eversley really wide, struggling for grip. Pat Long tries to take advantage, and Eversley has to use all of that curb to maintain, at that point, the third position. But since then, Pat Long has now moved up to the third position. Why is that significant? Well, he came into this round in the championship in second place, 102 points behind Parent, including Parent's pole bonus points. And if he finishes third, that's 90. This lead in the championship for Parent could be down to just 12 points tonight.
And Pat's pass around Eversley for that was a beauty. Watch this move, same spot almost.
Well, he tried to go the long way around, and Eversley was very respectful, gave him some room, but Long says, well, don't be too respectful, I'm going to take advantage. Eversley there trying to get over the right side to set up for this problem corner, and Long took advantage.
Yep, just shot through, makes the pass, and as you said, that's mega. It's Highcotter, Fong, and Long, 1, 2, 3 right now. Eversley fourth, and now Colin Thompson in the fifth spot, and Fong just working through some traffic at this stage, and that might be the thing that's going to help him a little bit. Patrick Long now a couple of seconds back and didn't get around that traffic going into Sunset Bend.
Now, that's good news for him. Michael Lewis has lowered the fastest lap of the race. It's down to 149.5. He did a few laps ago. Only 3 guys in the 149 bracket. So right now the grid for tomorrow would be Lewis on the pole, followed by Highcotter, the leader right now, and Long, the man on the move, with lineup third.
Down into Blackrock hairpin, and we are coming up now, folks. 3 minutes remaining in this one, so closing in on the finish here. And Long, he needs a little bit of help, I think, now to be able to get back up to Adderley here at this stage.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Adderley's been very strong here today, just under 3 minutes on the board, but nonetheless, just a great kind of professional, experienced drive by Pat Long. Found himself down in like the 8th position, I think it was, after all of the chaos in the 2 starts, and just kept digging deep, knowing that it could be a big day for him. And finally, a podium is looking likely. But there, Corey Fergus sitting in the 5th position in GT Cup. Just about a second back from Alex Welsh. You can see him, he's actually closed in on that gap. I'm sure he'll want a little bit more, but he's got to be respectful of this GT battle right behind him at the same time. Not an easy position to be in. I'm sure he's hoping that a lot of those cars will just clear him on the straightaways. Welsh runs really wide there. 2 minutes on the board. Thompson to the inside of Eversley and clears him.
Boy, he just rifled down to the inside, didn't he? That was
Eversley comes back. He doesn't give up easy.
He does not. He knows he's got a little bit better straight line. He knows that McLaren's way better in the corner with the downforce, and he doesn't feel too bad knowing that Acura handles real well on the straights and taking advantage of that.
Welsh there didn't see him. Stacks Eversley up. Eversley to the inside now. Alex Welch sees him. Thompson goes with him. Here's Cindric. He's got stymied completely. Monte Carlo right there. And here comes Pumpelly as well. Pumpelly's now in the mix. Great drive from the man who had his debut with the team at Mid-Ohio. Sticks it down the inside of Monte Calvo. Great move by Spencer.
That's for 7th and gets through. Beautiful job, and Fogarty right behind them. But Fogarty's got to get around Ferguson, the GT Cup car. Not able to do anything with it at this point. We are expecting white flag this time by, Cal.
Great recovery for John Fogarty in a really strong top 5 qualifying position. Got involved in that initial melee. Found himself, I think it was down in 14th position, Greg, and suddenly he's back up into the 9th position.
And once again through witchcraft, and Pumpelly having another very, very solid drive. There comes the 33 in the hands of Craig Dolby here. And here is your GT Cup battle. And you can see Udell has just backed off a little bit. Exactly what you said, Cal. He cannot afford to run too close and get that engine to overheat.
Well, another round tomorrow.
Points. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the points for today and tomorrow. You can't afford to damage sure if they hold the spear in the trailer to switch out overnight. But he's got to make sure that he's got a strong engine to get through the race tomorrow.
And here comes Heitkotter onto the front straight, expecting the white flag. There it flies. So Brian Heitkotter, what a day it could be for the 05. And Brian Heitkotter here, he had a second at the opening round at COTA, but this might be win number 1 on the season. What a story.
That is a great story. He's just been sensational in terms of his speed and his racecraft. And this is really a testimony to what these gamers can do when you give them the opportunity. Brian Heitkotter has grabbed it with both hands from the Nissan GT Academy program.
Absolutely, the gold ring here, pretty spectacular stuff. And right behind him, you see that yellow and black Porsche. That is the Calvert Dynamics Curd Records Discount Tire Circle Porsche entry of Michael Lewis. Fast lap is hanging in there, Cal. He could be starting up front.
Yeah, and he had really strong green flag run here today in the Sprint X Championship, including a victory. So if he hadn't had that problem down in turn 1, he could have been looking at a podium finish here today. Very, very strong car, and that's a great news for the Calvert Dynamics group, having lost their car with Preston Calvert yesterday. And Andrew Davis at the wheel of that machine.
That's a tough go. By the way, Frankie Montecalvo comfortably has fast lap right now in GTA, and Alec Udell has fast lap in GT Cup by a matter of a few thousandths of a second. That's how close those two guys have been going here.
Let the battle resume tomorrow.
Oh boy, here we go. Heitkotter into clubhouse. 2 corners to go for this amazing story in many ways. The gamer that has come, grabbed that brass ring when it was offered to him, and has just been exceptional. 1 more corner, and Brian Heitkotter feeding the throttle out of the final turn onto the front straight. And Nissan and Brian Heitkotter are going to win at Utah Motorsports Campus. Rick Kulak and that team absolutely overjoyed. What an absolutely great day for Heitkotter. And you can see, I don't know, I think Yuri and...
look at that, across the stripe!
How close? Eversley.
Woo!
By
8 thousandths of a second.
And Montecalvo just went through, takes the win in GTA. He'll be delighted with that, having had such speed throughout the year, but not getting that many great results. And Yuri and Udell, they got to finish this lap because they were still in front of Heitkotter when he came through and got that white flag. So this battle's still on, but right now, unless Yuri makes a mistake, knowing the problem that Udell's dealing with, this is going to be, I think, Yuri's day. It's not like he didn't earn it, man. He is good. It'll be his 5th win on the season.
Oh, it's going to be a big celebration tonight. Not too big because there's another race tomorrow, but certainly his fans, his friends, and partners will be exploding with joy because it was a great battle. Just a great battle. I mean, unfortunate if Alec is having those overheating issues and in terms of that stymieing his progress and speed at the end.
Well, 2 young drivers with such great futures in front of them, and it was great. And when I talked to Tyler Tadek earlier today, he said, we were a little frustrated after qualifying. We think we figured a couple of things out, and then you throw in the problem Udell had, and Sloan Yuri wasn't going to waste that opportunity. And it's a great story. Udell certainly has a lot of wins. He'll still get some good points, and it will be his 15th top 2 on the season. Not too shabby.
No. These two boys have pretty much dominated this category this year. Great race, great performance by Sloan today.
On to the front straight, Salt Lake City's Sloan Uri is going to come across and get, as we said, his 5th win on the season. No better place to do it than at home. Udell comes through with that 15th top 2 finish and doesn't give up that many points, and he did get the pole points, so that makes a big difference. But there is the man of the moment, Brian Highcutter.
Do you celebrate donuts on the game machine? He's thinking about his car for tomorrow. He's got a fast race car. He should start from the front row unofficially.
Yep.
And he just wants to protect that Nissan and have another crack at it tomorrow.
So Brian Highcutter wins overall and in GT, Monte Calvo in GTA, and Sloan Uri in GT Cup. We're going to pause for just a moment. When we come back, we will hear from some of our winners. Stay with us.
3 winners.
Wow,
The winners.
pretty fascinating race here, Cal. And there is Highcutter bringing that beautiful Nissan GTR GT3 down into the interview area over Fong, Long, Eversley, and Thompson. And that battle from, Highcutter had him covered and slowed it up a little bit. He knew the margin he had at the end. But that battle from second essentially back to 9th, 10th even was just furious here. But look at that.
It's a special moment.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Congratulations, Brian. He's always shown so much raw speed and good racecraft.
Yeah,
it's not like
has.
he's had to learn too many lessons here. He's always put in brilliant performances, but to finally bring it home, this will just add to that confidence factor.
Can't wait to hear what Mr. Uri has to say here. This one should be fun too. But right now, let's get down to the pit lane and Jeff Lepper with our first-time winner here in 2016.
Well, Brian Highcutter, first-time winner in 16, but your first-time winner as an overall GT driver. Tell us about this path you've taken.
It's pretty amazing. 5 years ago, I was dreaming of racing, and thanks to Nissan GT Academy, I'm racing at a very high level now, and I couldn't be doing it without them. So massive thank you to Nissan and PlayStation. It's amazing to be here. The A Motorsport guys have just been working so hard for the past year and a half. It's really nice to reward them with a win after all this time.
Well, congratulations to Brian Highcutter. Kids, when you're playing video games, maybe you can make a career out of that.
Yeah, there are parents all around the country that are just cringing at that thought. But nice idea, no question. He certainly has. And now take a look at the results at this stage. Highcutter with the win. Adderley Fong, a great second-place finish. Pat Long,
Huge day.
Huge. And he knew it. There's no question the way he was running. Eversley, Mr. Entertainment himself, hangs on for a 4th. And Colin Thompson really came alive late in that one, didn't he?
He did. His teammate Austin Cindric in the 6th position. But that was, I wonder if Thompson got by Eversley again, and Eversley just outdragged him to the stripe, as we saw just a few thousandths of a second between the two at the line.
And, of course, winning in GTA and doing it rather handily today, Frankie Montecalvo. Jeff, finally, great to see it.
Yeah, Frankie Montecalvo, you take the Road America round off. That really, I think that helped you.
Yeah, I mean, we took back and really got the car running well. We've been struggling the entire year to really get it settled to back where it was last year. But I think our pace showed at the end of Road America and this race as well. I think it was a tire game out there. We stayed out of trouble. We were up the front for a long time, but at the end, I just had nothing left in the tires to keep pushing and stay up front.
Well, Frankie Montecalvo back to victory lane in his Mercedes.
You bet he is. And you see that DRD, Dime Research and Development, and they have that Mercedes now working good. And that Gullwing, that tells you a little bit of history. And right behind him, you saw Sloan Uri getting out. We'll talk to him in a minute. But meanwhile, here's your GTA results. Montecalvo, but Fuentes coming in here with a big point lead over Shine, finishes in front of him. And in fact, actually stretches that point margin just a little bit, I would think.
It was really tight at the stripe as well between Fuentes and Sean, just 0.2 of a second. So Michael was trying to get that upper podium position, couldn't quite make it happen.
And, of course, I'm looking forward to this interview because Sloan Uri, so strong early, kind of had a quiet period in the middle of the season, Jeff, comes to Salt Lake City and his home track and gets the win.
Well, Greg, you said it right. Nothing like home field advantage, Sloan Uri.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's about time I took advantage of it because it was my first major win here at home, and I mean, the crowd up there had a whole cheering section, so just super proud of the team, True Speed, for giving me a great car to be able to win. And we worked really hard all weekend, tried a bunch of different things that we haven't this year, and yeah, I mean, can't get any better than this.
Well, Sloan Yuri counting on 5, and I think it can get better if he has to use his other hand to count the wins.
And he's got an opportunity to make that happen tomorrow. Let's take a look at our GT Cup results. And again, Yuri with the win over Udell. McKay Snow, another great story. 2 local boys on the podium. Alex Welch, a nice run into 4th, and Corey Ferguson 5th. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here on our global web stream. But don't go very far. Make sure you just stay with us really here on the web, because in just a few minutes we're going to be back with the first of the doubleheaders for GTS.